In this video, we're going to learn how to use layer masks. Layer masks are a good way of editing photos without changing the original image. Here we can see a picture of a group of people at the Holi festival in India, where people throw coloured dye everywhere. In my other copy of this image, you can see I have a black and white version of the image, but the boy in the centre is in full colour. I achieved this look using layer masks. Open the image that I've used in the example and you'll see that you have one layer called background. Right-click on the background and select Duplicate Layer to make a copy. You can rename it if you want, but I'm just going to leave this as background copy and click OK. We now have two copies of the image. We've got a background layer and a background copy. Hide the background copy by clicking on the eye icon next to the layer. We can now only see the background layer. Click on the background layer so it's highlighted in light grey. We're now going to change the colour of the background layer and make it black and white. To do this, click Image, Adjustments, Vibrance. Now turn the vibrance down as low as it will go to -100. You can see the colour fading from the image. Turn down the saturation to -100 as well. You'll see the photo is now black and white. Now click OK to apply your change. Now turn the visibility of the background copy layer back on. We can now see the colour of the top layer. Select the background copy layer and make sure it's highlighted in light grey. We're now going to add a layer mask to this layer. A layer mask is like putting a piece of paper over the mask or a piece of glass. And we can either make the mask transparent, so we can see through it, or non-transparent, so we cannot see through it. Layer masks use only black and white. Add a layer mask now by clicking Layer, Layer Mask, and then click Reveal All. You can see a white layer mask in the Layers panel has been applied to the background copy layer. When we have a white layer mask, we can see through the mask to the image below. If you hit Command and I on your keyboard, it switches the layer mask to non-see-through, which means it hides anything below. So the mask is now hiding the colour image, and you can see through the layer to the background, which is black and white. You can switch between visible and invisible by pressing Command I on your keyboard. Remember, white allows us to see through the mask, and black hides what's below the mask. With the black layer mask now hiding what's below, click on the brush tool on the left-hand side of your screen. Now make sure the colour of the brush is set to white. Click on the colour selector in the bottom left-hand corner and select white. Then click OK. I have a rather small brush now, as you can see the circle on the image. You can change the size of the brush by moving the sliders at the top of the screen. Change the size of the brush to something small, about 30 pixels wide will do, and the hardness to about 10%. This will make the edge of the brush a little bit softer and not quite as visible when we use the brush tool. Now, Start to paint over the boy in the centre of the picture. When we add white with the brush, it's making the layer see-through. If I change the colour of the brush to black, I can paint over the colour and make the layer non-transparent again. Make sure you've selected the white colour so we can make the layer mask see-through, and paint over the boy in the image so we reveal just the colour in that section of the layer. You may need to change the size of the brush a few times when you get to a really small part, like on the boy's fingers. Work away at the image until you've uncovered all of the boy in the image. Change the size of the brush as needed as you go. If your brush went outside the outline of the boy, you can always change the brush hardness down to 0, switch the colour of the brush to black, zoom in on the image with Command+, and go over the outline of the boy and make those sections of the layer mask transparent again. When you're ready, you can zoom out with Command- and see your finished image. Layer masks are a useful way of editing images without destroying or permanently changing the original image. When using layer masks, remember, white reveals what's below and black hides what's below.